I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. I'd like to mention at the beginning of those of you who don't have. Can you hear me? Yeah. The appointments are the recorders, Michelle Bennett, over there at the end. The parliamentarian is Chris Woodley, over there next to her. The timekeeper is Tom Butler. He's there. Okay, thank you. And Sergeant at Arms is Chief David Massey. And the teller is Bill Wentworth, standing over there. Okay. Now I'd like to have the presentation of the Sam Wilkinson Volunteer Award. Want to step up here, young man, please? All right. Okay. How are you? Good. Good, good. Okay, well, let's take this. We would like to present this to you. John Liberto is his name, is a 17-year-old junior at Stephen Decatur High School. Before moving to Ocean Pines 5 years ago, John was a resident of Roseto, Pennsylvania. John has been volunteering with Ocean Pines Recreation and Parks Department since 2012. Over the course of his time with us, John has accumulated over approximately 150 volunteer hours. While working toward the presidential award that is given to Stephen Decatur for the most volunteer hours, John signed up to volunteer to all of the Ocean Pines recreation events his school and work schedule would permit. The great help that John provides and his enthusiasm while volunteering for our events did not go unnoticed. Since we were calling on his helping hand every chance we got, John can be seen volunteering for events such as Dodgeball, Easter Celebration, Halloween, Freedom 5K, Pumpkin Painting, Kiwanis Pancake Breakfast, Camp Ocean Pines, Family Fun Night, Bingo, Youth T-Ball League, Youth Basketball League, Big Truck Day, Kite Day, and much more. Say that without taking a breath. When he was not volunteering, picking up work shift at Domino's or cheering on his favorite team, the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's okay. When I lived at Pittsburgh, we can find John participating in Decatur's JROTC program. After high school, John says he plans on attending the Naval Academy and join the Navy. Hooray! Thank you. Okay. Have we attained a quorum? Did anybody answer that question? Huh? Wentworth. Bill. Yes, sir. Have we attained a quorum? Not yet. Yes, sir, we have. We have. Pardon? Yes, we have. There are 114 people. Oh, great. 4 over. That's right. Wonderful. Good news. Okay, now we come up to the approval of the agenda. Does everybody have a copy of the agenda? Does everybody look at it? Does anybody have any changes or anything else they want to ask? Yes? Yeah.
Yes, I'd like to change it and such public comments in place before the announcement of the election.
Oh, it's not everybody
have a chance to membership.
Thank you. The problem with that is I've been reminded that Section B03 of our, our rules, resolutions rather, points out that the exact sorry, the exact order of the meeting has to be this way. Now, we could change that, but we probably have to do it in a board meeting and have an exact change made before it happens. Mr. Stevens.
Are we in discussion? We need a second.
Oh, I'm sorry, we need a second to his motion. We have a second, Joe? Okay.
Okay, are we in discussion?
Yes. Okay.
First of all, I know for a fact, having attended 9 of that in fact, we have modified the agenda. This reason. It is certainly, this is a members' meeting. I made a motion which is perfect valid. The reason for the motion is fairly obvious, I hope, to everybody. If you're a member, this is the only meeting that you get for your own meeting. And to put the comments, your only chance to have comments, behind the announcement of the election results, effectively shuts you out. I think that, in fact, Chairman Minot is mistaken in his assessment that bylaws prohibit a change in the agenda. And I think it's up to this body. If you all think it's a bad idea, vote against it. But if you think it's a good idea, vote for it. And then we'll just move along.
And then another problem with that, having your public comments, I think what you're saying before the election results just delays the election results. Even further.
This isn't an election results meeting. It's a members meeting.
I understand that. But if you recall, when you were president, now that I'm president, everybody was very, very anxious after all the reports to hear the results of the election.
Well, we're all anxious, actually.
All right, I'd like to call on my parliamentarian for his part. Oh, no, well, you. That's right. Chris is a parliamentarian.
Assuming the agenda is set forth in the bylaws, it says the order of.
Can you give him the mic?
Sure. That's a good idea.
Assuming the order of the agenda is in bylaws, and then it says that bylaws need to be amended by a proposal of the board of directors by petition file under section 4.07. So I'm not able to amend bylaws.
Right.
And the argument is that we don't have to amend. Just call a vote and see what the members whose meeting this is want.
Okay, that's part of the discussion. Can we have other people participate in the discussion?
Go ahead.
I'm just kind of confused as to why we have to, if the votes are already done, aren't we just waiting to hear what the results are? Is there going to be any discussion on the results? I mean, if it's not going to change the results at all, what does it matter if you don't put in its correct order?
Because there are other things to talk about.
But will it change the results of the?
Absolutely not. No, you're right.
I mean, I don't know.
It won't. You're right. It won't change the results.
I just don't want to hear arguments, stuff like that. Let's just stay with that.
Thank you. Well, at this point in time, I'm advised by some other people that I have to make a decision. My decision is to go ahead with the agenda as it is.
Thank you.
Okay. Now, the approval of the minutes of the annual meeting, August 8th, 2015. Does anybody have any modifications or corrections to those minutes? Okay. And we'll hear a vote. Everybody say aye. Aye. Thank you very much. Now the reports. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 reports. I'm sorry about that, but that's the way the agenda is. We'll have to wait. Get through all those reports. We'll be quickly as possible. The first one is a legal report by Chris Woodley. Chris, come up.
Good morning. I'm Joe Moore's law partner. Mr. Moore is out of the country and can't be here today, so he asked me to give a report. So just read a statement that he prepared. My office's participation in legal matters in the last year has been fairly uneventful with respect to any legal controversies, but as usual, our participation has involved advice of the President of the Board and the Board of Directors, as well as Mr. Thompson, regarding matters involving compliance with the Homeowners Association Act and other matters originating in the Circuit Court for Worcester County, upon which Ocean Pines Association has put on notice, such as foreclosure cases for properties within Ocean Pines when those properties had liens for non-payment of assessments. Mr. Thompson's staff and our office monitors the value of the property in relation to the stated mortgage debt in order to determine whether or not there would be any consideration of bidding on the property at the foreclosure auction so as to preserve the effect of Ocean Pines as a lien for non-payment of assessments. One of the matters that has involved our ongoing participation in the last year is continuing effort in achieving the successful turnover of the streets, open spaces, and stormwater management facilities in Section 17 of the Point. As some of you may know, the former developer of the Point, Bankers Development LLC, went out of business, and his principal, David Meinhardt, left the area. Accordingly, because the developer was not available to complete the conveyance of the property to Ocean Pines Association, we advised the board as to the method by which we could file suit in the Circuit Court for Worcester County to complete the turnover of the areas which Ocean Pines Association, and in some cases, the Point Homeowners Association, are presently maintaining. It should be noted that even though the formal title to the property has not been acquired by Ocean Pines Association, the association has performed its maintenance obligation just as though that had been accomplished. Now, by virtue of the unanimous vote of the Board of Directors, our office will proceed to file legal action in the Circuit Court, seeking to have the judge order the appointment of a trustee for the purpose of executing the documents necessary to complete the turnover. Ocean Pines Association and the Point Homeowners Association have reached agreement with regard to the respective obligations of each association as it pertains to those matters pertaining to the Point. As always, our office cooperates with our Carmine staff in monitoring and aiding the enforcement of the payment of Ocean Pines Association assessments. Respectfully submitted, Joseph Ford. Thank you.
Next up on the docket is the auditor's report by Chris Hall.
Good morning, everyone. I'm going to try to be brief and just give an overview of what an audit is and what it isn't. Your treasurer, Tom Terry, is going to dive into the numbers and be a little more specific on the financial statements themselves. So rather than trying to repeat what he's going to talk about, I'm just going to give an overview of the audit itself. The end result of the audit is the 44-page audited financial statements, which I believe now is on your web. It's on Ocean Pines' website for those that would like to review it. It's a 44-page document, and what TGM Group, my firm, as an independent auditor, is required to do is to give an opinion on that financial statement. So the most important part for the board of directors who hires us, as well as the membership, is the independent auditor's report, and that's the 2 pages that's on TGM letterhead. And those 2 pages cover 6 distinct paragraphs. The first paragraph talks about what we're reporting on, which is the balance sheet, the income statement, cash flows, and notes to your financial statements. The second paragraph talks about management's responsibilities, because these are management's financial statements, not TGM Group's financial statements. They're management's, and we're required to give an opinion on them. The third section talks about auditor's responsibility, which is basically what I just mentioned. Our responsibility is to give an opinion on these financial statements based on the audit work and test work that we do over the last several months. Our audit starts right after April 30, sending out confirmations to various banks and whatnot, testing cash receipts, testing cash disbursements, testing internal control, all various aspects of an audit that we need to do to render an opinion on your financial statements. The fourth section is actually our opinion, which is the most important part, and there are various types of opinions that an auditor can give. An unmodified opinion, a modified opinion, an adverse opinion, or a disclaimer of an opinion. An unmodified opinion is the highest level of assurance that an independent audit firm can give. That's a clean opinion, and that's what we rendered on your association's financial statements. So a clean opinion, highest level of assurance that can be given. The fifth section of the auditor's report relates to the supplementary information. There's several pages of supplementary information in those financial statements. various pages broken down by department, and we give an opinion on those supplementary schedules in relation to the financial statements as a whole. The last section relates to the very last page of the document, and that's the required supplementary information on future major repairs and replacements, which is required by generally accepted accounting principles. The one thing that's different about that page is actually, since it's required by GAAP, it's not really required for your financial statements. It's a schedule prepared by management and is labeled unaudited. We review it, but we're not required to apply audit procedures to it. Just a quick overview. Like I said, I don't want to get into the detail because your treasurer is going to go into the detail, but the financial statement continues to be healthy. Cash and cash equivalents increased from the prior year, mainly related to the increase in the reserve funds. And overall, the income statement had an increase in fund balance of $1.7 million, broken down into various matters. $2.3 million increase in reserves, a decrease in the property, plant, and equipment fund as it relates to depreciation, and an increase or surplus in the operating fund of roughly $300,000. And now I'll turn it over to the treasurer.
Okay, I'm not here to talk about anything really important. It's basically your money. And how well our administrative staff and your board have been doing with that. Going to go over the results of 2015-16, some of the trends in net operating performance, status of the reserves we have, some critical financial issues, trends in the assessments, and then a summary of what's been happening to the finances and, as I said, your money. 2015-16, as you walked in today, there were two handouts, one blue, one green, which give you all the detail. It's still a summary of the 44-page audit report, but it gives you a good study of where we stand in the finances as an organization, how things went last year. I do want to point out a couple important pieces of information for you that need to be understood. 2015-16, we ended the year over $300,000 to the good, as opposed to last year where we were $152,000 in the hole, which means we had a $462,000 improvement in the financial performance of the organization this year. The amenities themselves that always get a lot of attention actually almost made $500,000 this year. And by the way, before anybody says, oh, that's all the beach parking, we actually got less beach parking money this year than we did last year. The improvement for that is $321,000 over the previous year. So obviously the results of 2015-16 are looking pretty solid. The reserves themselves, some people love to announce or present that we have $9 million in reserves. Well, that's not telling the whole story. The actual amount on April 30th, 2016 was $5.7 million. On May 1st, we got $3.7 million added to that out of this year's budget. All of that money of which is scheduled to be spent along with another $440,000. So we're back to the 5.7, which we had to begin with. Now at that 5.7, it's not always available. The fact is we have $1.1 million set aside for bulkheads, about $250,000 for roads, and $272 worth of operating reserve replacement, which puts us at $4.1 million. So when someone loves to announce in the papers that we have $9 million, we actually have $4 million. That doesn't mean we're in bad shape, but it does mean that we don't have $9 million, and I think the membership has a right to know that. The reserve study, which was voted on and passed by the board and done by our organization, by DMA, an independent view of all of our assets, was completed. We have a draft report of that report. It shows us to have about $17 million worth of assets, and in their report, about $3.4 million. Their numbers, of course, were based on an estimate. They started their work last fall. So we have a little more money than what they thought we were going to end the year with. But relatively speaking, we're in good shape. But the issue becomes now the draft report. The board needs to look at this draft report and establish some policies around it as to how they're going to manage the use of that. One of the most important things that we have to do is manage our capital funding. For years, we have used annual depreciation expense through the annual assessment. That process has clearly worked. A few years ago, we added in what was termed the 5-year plan, then it became the legacy plan, now it's the capital plan, whatever name you want to put on it. It's an extra amount of money that is put into the assessment every year, which allows us to reserve money for capital expenditures. Over the past 8 years, we've collected $6.2 million, but expended $6.5 million in capital expenses. Over the last years, the outlook for borrowing. Had we borrowed the money, and I wish the gentleman who just walked out was still here, because had we borrowed the money as opposed to having it in our bank account, we would have spent $250,000 to $300,000 a year in interest, which we did not spend because we had the money in hand. Until the capital improvement plan, which needs to be updated and approved by the board, and the DMA study are done, we will not fully know how much money we need in reserves. But from my experience and looking at the numbers myself, AKA, I don't believe there's going to need to be an increase in the assessment in order to meet the needs of the capital needs of this organization. That could change once all the data is in. But as long as we maintain the legacy numbers coming in and the dollars coming in, we should be in fine shape. Decided to go back and look at a little bit of a decade. Said, where have we been for the last 10 years? Well, we started the decade with a bit of a stumble. We ended up at $485,000 in the hole after the first 3 years. 2010, some guy named Bob Thompson arrived to work with us. The next 3 years, we were ahead of the game. Got that 485 down to 120. But in that same year, we got a 10-year IRS case that hit us, worth about $459,000, which put us back up into the hole of $579,000. The next year, the board of directors decided that it was time to invest in one of our major amenities, which is the golf course. We built new greens, which caused that amenity to be open, half of it to be open. In retrospect, that approach may not have been the best approach we took. But the bottom line is it caused a loss that year of about $440,000. 3 years ago, whopping $1 million in deficit is where we were, 2013. Jump to how we recovered from that. In your assessment that is already in the total you pay, there was a $16 amount in there that was part of a Operations Reserve Recovery Fund, which you've already been paid. That, along with the positive dollars, not the least of which is $309,000 from last year that we have, plus the transfer of the balance for the Deficit and Recovery Fund. We are in the black for the first time in 10 years. Now let's look at the trend in the assessments. One of the things in the paper you may have read, one of my favorite sayings is don't change your starting, which means you look back. Well, I've been on this board for 6 years. Bob, you've been around for 6. We looked at it and said, okay, what happened to 6 years before this all started and what happened since? The assessment in 2004-05, I looked right at the check that I wrote to Ocean Pines. It was $545. The one I wrote for you fiscal year 2010-11 was $808. That's an increase of $263 in 6 years. 48% increase. 8% a year. Now let's jump to 2010. We start with the 808. We ended up with 921. 921 both years, last 2 years, including this year. Net increase, $113. 14% increase as opposed to 48. 2.3% per year versus 8%. And remember, we paid off $1 million worth of deficit while still holding the assessments to where they are. The operational trends of our organization are solid. Let's summarize. We've erased a $485,000 deficit that we inherited from 2009. We absorbed an IRS hit of $459,000. We survived a major investment in our golf course, which cost us $441,000 in operating loss that year. We've increased the dues only 2% a year versus 8%. Looking at the trend another way, as I just said, in 6 years, it's 14% increase over the last 6 years instead of 48%. Amenities have been redirected and made operationally profitable each of the last 2 years to the tune of almost $500,000 this year. And we're back in the black. Not bad for a community that some people say is out of control. If you allow me a couple personal notes. First, I want to thank the staff of Ocean Pines. These folks are a blessing to our community. Their dedication, their work, their caring about us and caring about our community cannot be matched. I have to thank Pete Gomzak, who had the unenviable job of trying to teach me accounting and help me understand some of these numbers over all the last 6 years. And what people may or may not know about Pete, he does an enormous amount of free work for our community every year. You may have a personal situation one way or another with him or me, but the realities are the dedication of this man is unmeasured, how much he gives to this community. To the guy who walked into the office in 2010, at the same time I did, Bob Thompson, there are no words for me to say how grateful I am to your work and your dedication to this community. And to those who want to assess Bob's performance, please go back to the pages I just went over. Just look at the numbers where we are, where we were, and where we are now. I want to thank the people I served with on the board, 6 of them. We got a lot of things done. I have a message to new board members, whomever they're going to be. Take time to learn the facts before you act. But remember, every board member truly believes they've got the right answer for our community. All of us do. All of us did. Sometimes if you listen, you'll find out the other person has the right idea or the right information. But sometimes you have the right information as well. And this next one's kind of tough. Thanks to my number one supporter, Carol Terry. You can't imagine the things that she's had to put up with over the last 6 years for our community. So I thank her for support and for her steadfast putting up with all the hours and all the meetings, some of which I may not have had to attend, but I went anyway. This community has honored me to serve for 6 years on this board, and I thank you very much for that opportunity. Thank you.
Okay. President's report. I do have a few things here. The first thing thought was probably the most important thing I did maybe was the reestablishment of open lines of communication between myself and the general manager with weekly meetings. The reason for that is not micromanaging. In fact, it's just the opposite. We were trying to get together so I understood where he was going, what he was doing, and how he planned to go about doing it. I hope it was helpful to him. It certainly was helpful to me and to my good cohort, Cheryl Jacobs, who doesn't seem to be here. No? There you are. Okay. We also set in motion the Sandpiper changeover from propane gas to natural gas. This has been ongoing negotiations for a couple of years, and we finally, Bob's great negotiating skills, which saved the association somewhere in excess of $400,000 that we're getting back. We are now being this changer. I hope those who are affected by it, not just starting myself, are finding it worthwhile. 2 key bridges are well on their way to restoration. Bob is working hard on that to try to get that all structured, get it working. And the new White Horse bathrooms are being constructed, while the Beach Club bathroom are in RFP status for upgrade purposes. Both of those should be completed within. Manklin Creek project encountered costly stormwater mitigation issues, causing delays. However, the project is moving forward with the conversion of 2 tennis courts to 8 pickleball courts. Stress the need for order in our board meetings by following Robert's Rules of Order and consistently encouraging civility at each board meeting. Some of you may think that didn't always occur. We tried. We did. I used that gavel quite a bit during that time. Also, we led the fight to deny access or egress to the PRMC medical through Ocean Parkway in Ocean Pines after providing an open forum for residents and Mr. Palmer Gillis to express their opinions. I was satisfied with that result, but he's had to find some other way to get his people out. We brought Landscape Unlimited to the table for first-year performance review. Having a little bit of problem with some of the things they said they're going to do that we don't feel that they're doing. We presided over budget negotiations resulting in no increase in assessments dues for the following year. And believe me, that wasn't easy, but we did it. Restoration of the sports core pool, which will be completed in September, will result in all of our OPA pools having been updated. The initiation of the turnover agreement to OPA for Section 17. For those of you who don't know what that is, that's the point. It's our last bastion, which I won't go into any detail about it. Jerry can tell you more about it than I can. But we are in the process of doing that. It's a very important piece of what we have to get done. We amended the contract with Beacon to refocus purpose of the comprehensive plan study. We're doing it ourselves. We returned the control of the CIP process to the general manager, which I think was important. That's in the bylaws. We're supposed to do that anyway. And last but not least, he established both a monthly and a quarterly reporting process between Landscape Unlimited and the general manager. Thank you very much.
Morning. Morning. All right, I don't stand behind there, so I'll give you a quick update. Hopefully mine will be a little more fun and less factual numbers. I know not everybody wants to sit through all that. You have some other business you're waiting to hear. So let me run through the year. I want to thank the entire team this year. The staff did a great job. We actually finished the year financially much stronger. Best performance in 2 decades. So, and that, I appreciate the accolade saying it was me. It wasn't me. It was the staff. Staff really worked at every area, did a good job managing expenses as well as driving revenues. So, kudos to the entire staff. Some projects, just to give you a quick update. We did road striping and road trimming this year. That's where they painted the roads, and then roadside trimming is something we budget for on a periodic basis. That got accomplished. We also had some damage back in late winter, early spring with the beach club when the storm came through. I don't know, for those who didn't see it, the partial roof got torn off. And this was after years of being there in storms and hurricanes. This one kind of got up under the roof and lifted it. You can see where it tore it off, which caused leaking inside. Those repairs have been made now. I didn't have a picture of the new repairs, but once we got it all cleaned up, they put the whole new roof on it. So when you go over and look at it, you'll see a new roof line is up there. There's the pieces of actual copper that came on. Yeah, now what was real interesting about the copper, anybody knows copper prices go up and down. We had to drive a Bobcat to sit on top of it because contractors were just swirling around it trying to load it and take it off. So about 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning this happened. Eddie Wells and I rode over and took a look, realized we needed to ball it up, and he drove a Bobcat on top of it until they could load it on the truck later on and bring it and carry it out of the area. So we have it all kind of mangled up and stored at Public Works. We won't reuse it, but when copper prices go back out, we'll move it out for salvage. We did some drainage pipe work right out on the St. Martin's. We increased some pipe size. That was something part of the ongoing. There's always something we're trying to do improving the drainage. So I just wanted to point that out. Increased some of the pipe size, increased the water flow. Yacht Club and Marina completed the additional fire pit this year that was budgeted. Tiki bar awnings, which just went up. I appreciate all the positives on that. Actually, more positive than I expected. So thank you for that. Glass tops, repainted the covered entrance. Air curtains. The air curtains are small things over the doorways that seem to have had a very, very good impact on flies coming in and out of the facility. So that was a big plus. We did new roof on the gas dock building, some water lines, and the ramps that go down to the piers were all replaced this year. We're still having a challenge with the odor, and we've isolated the one area. We've had so many tests done. T.E. Smith has done a great job coming back out, no charge, trying to identify, isolate, get it taken care of. So hopefully we'll get that wrapped up soon. And partitions and decor on the first floor are continuing. As you know, it was budgeted, you may not know, it was budgeted to build some partitions, get some separation on that first floor area. Some things in process, sports court pool, the covered pool's closed down. I have it asking why we did it now when we're real busy. Well, we did it now because we have 4 other pools open. So we didn't want to close it in the winter when we didn't have them open. So new deck, new resurfacing the pool. New slide, new entrance covering area. I'll give you some quick snapshots of it. Those who haven't been able to see it. Yeah, don't jump in now. But I'll tell you, these pictures are a couple weeks old. The contractor's doing a phenomenal job. But this side here, you're basically walking in from where you all are sitting from the entrance area. So this is going to be the new zero entry where you have steps down into it, so you don't have to climb in and out using the railings. And that's where they dug it all out. And then that's where the new steps have gone in. Got it all cleaned up, and now and they're starting the resurfacing. It actually looks very, very nice. You guys are going to be real pleased with that. That should last us many, many years in the future. Finalizing, we had some permitting issues. We're putting new bathrooms in. For those that don't know White Horse Park, if anybody wants to know when you walk out of here, because I've had people still asking where they are, if you look at the mailboxes, you can't see them from here, but right through the building behind us, there's a mailbox pad there, right behind the mailbox pad. What that allowed us to do is keep them on the park side, so folks using the park don't have to cross the busy area here when folks are driving in and out. Second thing it also did for us, that particular location, we didn't have to take any trees out. So we thought we had 2 pluses having it there. We're still working on the Maple Meadows complex from the tennis court conversion to pickleball courts. That's something the board had directed us to do. The corners are where we ran into a little bit of a problem. Each of these turn into multiple pickleball courts. And what we've had some challenges is these corners, getting them expanded, the cost in having a contractor come out and do the actual asphalt work or concrete work to do it. We're just trying to get those costs as low as possible. But all the other bids are in, so we're hoping to get that moving very, very soon. Other projects that you'll see this coming year, road paving will be in the fall. And again, it shuts down in the winter once the plant's shut down, but we have a process for that. Bridges should start, the work on the bridges, the underside of the bridges should start sometime towards the end of this month. Repavement of the Mumford's parking lot. We were trying to do it in June, and the contractor, with all the rain we had in May, all the pavement contractors were behind, and what they ended up doing was pushing us till July 4th weekend or just after. Well, we had to say, well, we have to wait on that. Board was able to approve it real quick for us, but the challenge was they didn't want to have the full parking lot out of service for 2 or 3 days when it's the time when everyone's using the pool. So we pushed it to the fall when that pool's closed. So that project's still on target, just we've decided to delay it. Beach Club bathrooms, we put RFP out. We've received them back. They've been analyzed. We're finalizing that to make recommendations to the board of what steps we ought to make there. Police station, we're looking, it was budgeted to do a review to figure out what we need to do, upgrades or build a new police station. Chief and I have been visiting other stations around the area that have been either renovated or rebuilt. We're looking at the current regulations for how police stations are supposed to look in today's day and age. So we're kind of analyzing all that. That's something that'll come to the board for action. Technology upgrades, we're going through some analyzing of all of our print technology. We're starting to have computer failure, network failure across the board. It's a very old system. So an RFP is going to go out shortly for that. Wi-Fi here in the community center is something that's budgeted this year. So that'll go in. Yay, one happy camper. Okay. Swim and racket club tennis courts, we're supposed to be repaving those, so that'll happen as well. Huntington Park gets an upgrade with the playground equipment. And the gym floor, we finally, I can say, real excited about it. For years, we've had a problem with water rolling into that gym floor. Anybody that doesn't know that. It actually continues to bubble up. The current floor covering constantly has bubbles of all sizes underneath. That's because of the dampness and the water that comes up. In addition, the back corner of the building had for years rolled to those double doors, which had it come when we had heavy storms. When the water rolled off the roof of the building, it would pretty much hit the side and roll into the building. So we've actually taken all the steps we need to mitigate that, and I'm happy to say the last couple months with some of the real heavy rainfalls, we had no penetration in this back door. So real excited about that. Now we'll get moving on gym floor replacement. We wanted to do it sooner, but it would have been foolish to do it until we were sure that the water wasn't going to come back. So this is work that should be coming in next 6 months or so. Country Club. All right, I'll mention it. I think, I may have left it off. Country Club, we're doing a current engineering study on it. We're upgrading. 2011, an engineering study was done on the Country Club. Becker Morgan Group did it to kind of give an update on all the mechanicals, all the components. They're in the process of updating that study. That's actually should be wrapping up soon. And that was one of the other things that the board wanted us to look at as to what the future of the Country Club may look like. Replacement or remodel or what somewhere in between. Thank you for that. Some other quick highlights. We did our first ever bulk pickup this year. Let me tell you, 2 days of rain, miserable conditions, but we removed 104 tons of debris from the community. So we're really excited about that. A lot of work. The Public Works team pretty much worked from light till way past dark 2 days in a row. Did a great job. We actually separated it, and we did recycle what we could, so it wasn't a complete waste, and then obviously sent the rest to the landfill. We had our first ever Residence Academy, and it was a great 6-week course. We basically were trying to share knowledge about the community. It's something that we've been looking at doing for a couple of years. We finally went ahead and pulled the trigger and did it this year, and it worked out from our standpoint extremely well. We learned a lot from the membership. Great interaction. We had about 30 people. We met once a week for 6 weeks. I wanted to take a quick there. We had a number of people, 12 or so, actually sat down and did some kind of talk about it instead of just written feedback. And I've got 3 of the snippets here, and I'm hoping it works for us. All right, she's saying it's wonderful, and we did a great job. Let's be on that. You were the speaker. All right. I got two more, and they're not going to be as loud. Okay, she said it was perfect. She's been to 100 of them. She was a manager forever, and this was the best of her lifetime. She's not here. We'll post them on the website. So I make them short. You didn't get the whole thing, but I promise that's what they say. Bernie, are you here? So I'm telling you, she said it was awesome. All right, so we're real excited about it. Went extremely well. Very, very positive feedback on it. Had a lot of really, we learned, I think, as much as the 30 people who went through the class. It was funny because the last day we actually did a wrap-up and asked, hey, what you think? What can we improve? We spent a couple hours just talking back and forth. Ended up going extremely well for us. The biggest part of it, everyone said, we need more classes like that. We need to do more of them and expand them in length. Anybody here attend the class? There you go. Okay, anybody want to agree or disagree with me? You don't disagree, do you?
Don't disagree.
Was I right? All right, I didn't make it up. Okay. All right, thank you. Woo! We filled it right.
Yeah, right.
All right, audit. Natural gas, they already talked about coming in the community, real excited about it. It's been going. There were some hiccups, but Sandpiper's really been very good to work with. Of the hiccups we've had, compared to how big a community we are, they've actually been relatively minor. I know if it was you that had one of those hiccups, it didn't seem minor to you. But in a community of our size, in general, it's been going real well. They've been very good partners with us. So we appreciate that. Appreciate Chris's audit. We think that went extremely well. I'll give you some more on some of the others. Some awards and recognition this year, some things you may not have heard of. I just wanted to cover for you. Because it's not always just about the bottom line financial, but some of the outside recognition we've been receiving. We remain in the top 10 safest cities in Maryland, which is really good. It has a lot to do with the chief and the work they do for us each and every day, protecting us. What place aside is today, crime continues to creep up. The really neat part for us is the dedicated police force we have has done such a good job protecting us. The biggest thing that we're dealing with now is drugs coming into the community. And you all, I'm sure you've heard about the heroin. It's kind of the drug of choice now. And it's really, really a bad thing. It's very cheap, very accessible, and it's impacting a lot of families. So one of the things the police department presented, working directly with the CET task force at the county level with Reggie Mason, the sheriff. So we've actually identified, we're going to add a police officer that will actually serve on that, which gets us some direct access to not only information, but more resources here to our community. So appreciate the chief recognizing that, bringing that up during the budget process, and we're looking forward to working with Reggie and his team to continue to combat that. We've also been recognized once again outside for some awards this year. Maryland Public Relations Society, which is a pretty big deal for us, actually recognized us for our website, for the best website. Maryland Recreation Parks Association recognized us for a logo and a photo again this year. Anybody remember last year's photo, which was most ironic? The goose, right? All the goose. So I thought I'd show you the first. That was the logo. Website, which you've all seen. It was not a goose. I duck made it this year. So, but that was pretty cool. So one of our residents did that right out in the pond area. So
green-winged teal.
Oh, it's a green-winged teal. Is that what it is? That's the duck, right? Okay. Green-winged teal. I didn't know if it was this or this. I don't know. But that was a photo one. Pretty cool. So wanted to share that. I think the duck's leading the song. Some other best of, which was actually pretty exciting. We won some additional awards. Coastal Styles Magazine, which is the whole region here, actually named us as the best wedding facility again, and that was at the Yacht Club. Best residential community in Worcester County. and Best Youth Sports Coach Erica Cook for the tennis area. So did just great recognition. So that's good stuff. We also, the Metropolitan Magazine, Best Wedding Catering Facility in the Ocean City, Berlin area, second year in a row. So things are going well, despite some of what you kind of get mixed messages on Yacht Club in particular. We're not going to cover off the ball based on what others are saying about us. So that's a positive. Not that improvements don't still need to be made, but things are moving in a good direction. Some quick summer highlights for you. We just had Christmas in July, which was fun. Santa shows up, swims with the kids, big event. Splash pad's been going great. Family fun nights have been packed. Bless you. We had over 325 people last Wednesday at the pool. It was great. I mean, people I know, I look around and see people that attend that. So that actually has been going extremely well. We've had some fun stuff, some of the camps, some of the events that are going on. I've never seen a board like this. Look at all the kids on this board. I actually had to look 3 times there. Are they on one board? Yes, they were. It's one of the camp things going on. Our junior golf program has exploded, which is phenomenal. So there's a lot. Skateboard, the tennis, and then certainly out with some of the learning of the boarding out on the beach. So a lot of fun events there. Real excited about the new hydrocycle classes. We've already introduced them. We got those this past year as a trial, and we're excited about getting them in. And our classes have been packed, and we're really not fully operational yet because they're going to be used for the indoor pool. But we're kind of testing them at the outdoor pool, and they've been extremely well received by folks of all ages to come in and exercise. Some of the summer events, soccer camp, I had to pull. Some of these are just fun to look at, things you all missed. You get all lost in white noise of all the other stuff. This is some of the stuff that goes on that not everyone gets to see. Mermaid swim. Okay, they have mermaid tails. They've been big hit for 2 years. And yes, Colby's bought some adult. So they've had some adult mermaid parties. All right, now they did get one picture of one merman. And I'm not doing it. So there is that's what some dad did it. Good for him. But that won't happen anytime soon for me. But they do have, and they've been cool with the events. The kids are loving them. And the junior lifeguard program continues to grow each year. It's the only one in the state. And it's also, they elevated and done an officer program this year. So again, all positive things with growth in the organization. And then concerts in the park. We did our 4th of July run and 4th of July, just fun events out there for all the kids. So I just want to take a few minutes and point all those things out that you don't normally get to see, you don't think about. They're all positive about Ocean Pine. So thank you for the support. I want to thank the staff once again. They did a great job this year, and I appreciate everybody being here today.
Thank you, Bob. We also, do we have any old business? Any old business? We had none then. Any new business? New business. Then I'm going to turn the meeting over to our esteemed chairman of the election committee, Bill Wentworth. Bill?
Thank you, Pat. That's the first time in the last week and a half that everyone has called me esteemed. Called a lot of other names, but not esteemed. First of all, I'd like to thank all of we had 11 candidates run for office this year. This is unprecedented in OPA. I'd like to thank them for all the efforts and involvement. The results of the ballots that just tabulated yesterday. First place, 1,900 votes, Brett Hill. Second place, 1,520 votes, Slobodan Trendrick. Third place, 1,428 votes, Tricia Supak. Congratulations to our 3 new directors. Now, I have a copy of all the results for the board of directors, and if any members of the media or the press would like a copy of those results, I give them to you also at conclusion. Thank you.
Do we have any public comments? Does anybody have any public comments? Do I see a hand raised? Yes, ma'am.
I was just wondering if someone could answer a little question for me. I saw on the financial statement something about casino. What do we have? What's our relationship with casino? What's that fund?
Received tax dollars from the casino, about $250,000 a year.
The casino, the law was set up for local communities and groups like ours to receive some impact funds from the casino revenues. We get approximately $250,000 a year, which the board has earmarked for roads.
And the second part of my question is, the natural gas coming in, where's that all supposed to be? Is it going to eventually be the whole development?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
Any other public comments? Okay. Well, we're going to adjourn. However, I will.
Or have a comment over here.
Wait, should you come to the microphone for the comments, please?
Sure.
Okay, thank you. You're welcome. I had a follow-up question. Frank Maresca, lot number 159 or something. Burns Landing. Okay, can you hear all that?
Yes.
I have a follow-up question on the gas, the natural gas conversion, and that is there a website or someplace where we can actually look and chart how fast this process is going? Because I'm on the south end, and I understand that it started on the north end, and I was kind of curious to know how long it might take to get down to us.
Yes, we do. I can answer that. We do actually have on our website a page that's dedicated to the Sandpiper Energy. Okay, and with that, they have started on the north end. I'm with you in the south end. We're a couple years out before they get down to us at the earliest. Okay?
That's question one.
Yes, sir.
Question two has to do about it's budget question, which it's obvious that there was a major improvement in the performance of the budget with a surplus of in excess of $300,000. But in looking over the details, I still had some question about the yacht club. You had mentioned that was sort of, it's good, things are moving in the right direction. But I noticed that, we had spent a lot of money for a big, was over $5 million, and I was surprised to see that, in the second year of operations, there was a loss, not insignificant. And while I don't want to go into a lot of detail with all that, I wonder if you might sort of give, at least for my benefit, a brief overview of why there's such a deficit in something which I assume should have been very positive in terms of cash flow.
Okay. Okay. I'm sorry. I don't mean to jump in, but I'm assuming these are for me. Okay. Great question about the yacht club. Day one, when we said we were building a new building, we did the referendum to approve it. We never said we'd make money day one. We knew we had a lot to overcome. It's not just the facility; it's how you manage the facility, the food costs, those type of things. We're obviously doing a very, very good job on the wedding, catering, those type of events, and we're getting the recognition. We're getting the bookings on it. Areas last year that we found that we didn't probably do as well as some of the internal events we did for our members, for some of the clubs and activities, where we've made some improvements there. And then the a la carte business, we've been trying to dial in to figure out what the right type, a la cartes, which when you just come into the first floor of the club order. It's just, I think we've had some challenges with our menus and the expansion. It's been relatively narrow. We're making some changes to that now. So again, it's kind of a learn and go, and it's kind of trying to work together with everyone. We have a pretty eclectic community with the demands of what they'd like to see, offered at the club, and some of those create some unique challenges for us. So is it perfect? No, but it's moving in the right direction because we've been able to fix some of the other things, and now we're really trying to focus on the a la carte sales because that's kind of the last part. Now, the other thing that had a dramatic improvement year over year was the labor cost, which is always the biggest cost of an organization. And with the new manager down there last year, our labor cost really fell much more in line than previous year.
I have a very short question, very easy.
Okay, name?
Yeah. Alan Brodsky.
Yes, sir.
I've made this over the years, same suggestion. Other things I'll take up with you personally.
I know you will. Wouldn't be the first time.
But one thing I've asked for again and again over the years, if you look at this departmental summary fiscal year ended 4/30/16, it has the variance is $15,101 for tennis, which is my favorite sport. When you divide it by 8,000 households, that's only $2. I hope all my friends here would pay $2 a year to, which they probably don't even count in their budget, to let me play tennis as an 88-year-old man. Thank you. But I made this last time. Divide, at least on one page, divide these variances and these negative numbers by 8,000. Let people see it's not a big deal. Because some people think if you lose a little money on an amenity, it's out the window. It's a business. It's an independent business. It's not an independent business. It's part of the community, raises our property values much more than the little cost we spend.
Yes, sir.
Very good.
Thank you. Mr. Sherman, can you speak loud enough? You need the mic or fire away?
Won't be able to hear you. Speak up.
I come to you. Don't meet me halfway. Don't work your way, man.
By the way, while he's going there, I want to ask the board members that are new to see me after the meeting. We have to set up a reorganization meeting. Please. Go ahead.
My name's Bill Sheridan, 398 Parkway. I can hear you. Like I'm a singer. Okay. Bill Sheridan, 398 Ocean Parkway. I just have a statement. I was converted to the gas from the propane. The first bill I got was 8 units. The same period the previous before, it was when I was on propane, 2 units. I got that was comparison to June. Compared July, it went up to 14 units, $68. All I had on was a pilot light a year ago and today. I don't know if anybody else is experiencing this, but they gave me a statement of why it went up to 8. I accepted it for what it was worth. When it went up to 14, I called again, and finally, after dragging myself, I got a person to come out from Sandpiper, and they checked this, there's nothing wrong with it, I can't understand why, so on and so forth. I don't know if anybody else had an experience like this, but I never had a $68 bill in the middle of summer with only a pilot light on.
Any other questions? Oh, there's more here. I'm working my way back, man.
Okay.
You can hear me? My name is Joe Giacopinello. I live over in the park. And the question I have is about the yacht club, okay, about the food and the prices. And my only comment is this. Anyone who's passed that new Southgate Grill that just opened up, anytime, day or night, you can't even get into the parking. I suggest that the catering manager get a copy of their menu and follow the same thing. You'll see revenue with it.
Hello, my name is Gail Wojciechowski, and I live in Section 10. And I have 2 statements. One about the yacht club. The upstairs deck is a couple of years now. I've complained because there's openings on the end where a small child could get through. The railing comes over and comes over. And there's a section a small child fall through. No one has ever fixed it. And then the other statement or question I have is why when you have your brunch normally it's $15 and Easter it goes to $30.
Okay.
You know, that's a family time when you want to take a lot of family and you raise the price. And I was told because they provide music.
Good morning. I'm Bob Harden, Section 3, and my question is the flood management control continuing in the community. The last major storm that we had, particularly in the Canal Road area, the mailbox sections, flooded a number of the houses completely. Their lawns were all underwater. My concern is mosquitoes. And the thing is the community continuing? And I was told there was a mobile mosquito truck once so far this year. Is that program still in place? And is there any more management interest in trying to create the drainage, solve some of the drainage issues, particularly in Section 3?
All right, and I'm going to move to the front to answer so I can look at everybody. Yes, drainage is ongoing in the community. The community was developed to handle the drainage stormwater management here in Ocean Pines. It was developed to handle 3 inches of rain in 24 hours. Okay, you know, anybody knows the type of rainfall we've had. And recently, we've had much more than that in an hour. Okay, so we're just not built to handle that type of rain. Secondly, with the drainage, you have drainage that occurs, stormwater management in the community 2 ways. One is it's affected by tidal cycles. Okay, so as the ditches get full in certain areas of the community, as the tide rises and ebbs and flows, basically rises and falls, it starts to push the water out. Parts of the design in the Ocean Pines community is exactly that. Other parts of the community were designed not for tidal, but just for regular drainage. But over 40 years of building up, the topography changing. When I say topography, every time you build a house, you do a new culvert pipe in front of the house with the driveway. You're changing the topography, and the drainage has changed. And as homes have continued to pop up, it has continued to change. So yes, we're actively engaged on an ongoing basis. The board 2 years ago made a determination to actually allow us to hire a full-time drainage crew with the equipment. We actually have something we used to unit that you actually can blow pipes out. We used to have to get on the schedule with the county because there was only one in the county, and Worcester County would come blow them out for us. They were quick at it, but not as quick as we felt we needed. So we ended up buying one of those units and a truck with all the other pieces we need and assigning a full-time crew, and that's what they do each and every day here in the community. Now, the thing that you can do to help as residents, and this is a problem that occurs on a regular basis, is remember, you need to help us when it comes to either you or your neighbor raking things into the ditch and hoping our team's going to get by quick enough to peel it out of there. We find a lot of times when we show up for something where it's a backup, it's because there's something debris from the ditch that maybe not you or your next door neighbor, someone upstream has put in, it's flowed down and blocked one of the culverts. And with 70 miles of roads, nearly 70 miles of roads, which means we have 140 miles of drainage ditch we deal with because there's ditches on both sides, it's a lot to cover in a short period of time when a rain event occurs. So it's kind of a team effort for all of us. But we do have an active crew managing it and now working on it every day.
I would ask that they come to Section 3.
Section 3 is one of the things we've done a lot of work in over recent years.
Never seen.
Okay, well, I can tell you definitively, please come to my office and I'll show you the work we've done near Bainbridge Park to help the flow get out of there, and then how we funneled it upstream. We work closely with the county, improved the piping across Beecham Road, which had a dramatic improvement there. Be happy to sit and go over it with you in detail if you like, sir. I didn't bring it with me, but I'd be happy to. We had some questions up front. Yes, ma'am.
Well, can you hear me? 8 or 6 Avon Court. I'll be brief. But I have 3 items, and hopefully some of you feel the same way. Tell you about the food at the yacht club. Not allowed to bring food in, right there, but they provide no snacks. Small bags of pretzels, chips, sweets. Can't even get something like that. And who doesn't like ice cream when it's 100 degrees out? I talked to the bartender about it. I said, why aren't you all selling ice cream? It's 100 degrees. Oh, we don't have fruit. Make fruit. I got it up with the pier, put it in the freezer for ice cream. It would sell out each day. Keep a bigger stock inside. We stock daily. The other thing is, talking about the food, they offer a hot dog now. Went down to $5 to $3. Thank you very much. But it's a naked hot dog. You can put some cheese on it, chili dogs. You know, I think you need to ask the people that are there every day for their input. I've never seen Jerry Lewis there. I'm sure he does go there occasionally, but the directors never seem to go there, much less swim there. But you should get the input of the people that are there. The other thing has to do with noise restrictions. I understand there is none here in Ocean Pines, but if you have a barking dogs, 4 of them across from your house, what can you do about it?
Okay.
Nothing? That's a terrible answer. But that's the answer. You're right. And I hope whoever doesn't think it's a problem, the directors have barking dogs next to them, because it's ridiculous. Last thing, the restriction. There's some places that have been against the road restrictions here for years. One has been commercial since 1990, and it's gotten away with it. It's on 106 Boston Drive. You should look into it. It's nothing but building materials inside, but you can see the street. Thank you.
Thanks.
Mike, is it on? I just want to make a quick comment here. I'm sitting in the audience there and hearing all the positive reports, not just on the financial results of the past year, but on the many things that are happening in Ocean Pines, and also the accolades that we receive. And it occurred to me that probably a lot of people in this room were not aware of such positive things regarding our community. So just a thought, I said, I wonder if in the future, I'm sure this won't work out, but what if we would have this annual meeting before the election process starts rather than after? And that just occurred to me.
I can't fix that. So, any other questions before we wrap up? Oh, we have some more. Sure.
This is Barry here. John Wall, Cape Town Road. Can you tell me what the deal was? I don't think I was here with the IRS that we had to pay $150,000.
Yes, about 14 years, almost 15 years ago now, there was a ruling by the IRS that our parking lot at the Beach Club should have been open to the public to use, and we had it restricted only to those who bought passes from our membership. We thought since the owner, well, I wasn't here at the time, so I wasn't here either. But the bottom line was that the Ocean Pines Association felt they owned the parking lot. They had a right to restrict its use to its members. The IRS ruled that we did not have a right to restrict, and therefore it became income to the organization that we should have paid taxes on. Back and forth, we appealed it, all that. Bottom line is, in the end, the IRS won the argument. I still believe they were wrong, but that's okay. It's over. We've recovered from it. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll come back up to Midway, promise.
I'm Larry Bohannon, 27 Castle Drive. We've only been here 3 years, but I'm an ex-businessman. I was in the restaurant catering business for 25 years. So I look at the yacht club primarily and the golf club because I was assistant manager of a golf club also. One of the things that I don't understand is that in all of the financial statements that are put out, it always gives a bottom line net profit, but then right next to it, it gives you what a budgeted amount was, and it'll show a deficit. And it seems there's so much emphasis on the fact that we didn't meet the budget, but yet there's a profit. And papers pick up on it, residents pick up on it. I don't know if you know what an estimate is or a proposed. It's just somebody's guess at how much revenue you're going to generate. And when you have a month like May in the golfing industry where it rained 27 days, how do you expect people to go out and play golf in that? And then to criticize, the organization for not turning a profit in that month is crazy. I don't understand it. I don't think you should even either get people that reduce the amount of the estimates that you're going to have, or just don't even publish them. I mean, bottom line is what counts, whether you make a profit or not.
No comment.
I'm Jean Ford, and I live in Osprey Point. I just want to say that as an owner since the year 2000, one of the things that was mentioned at this meeting I think should be underscored 14 times, and that is the feeling of safety in this. Because traveling back and forth from my primary home to here, I never questioned what I was going to find or how it's going to easy, and I appreciate that very much.
Kevin Klecko, 2 Dove Lane. 2 points. One, the yacht club. I was there last night. One thing I don't understand is it's tough to get it. I went for transfusion last night. I know that's one of the busiest nights over there. It's a great night. How can we make more of that over the yacht club? The yacht club obviously is not busy all the time. There's ways to make that yacht club busy. There's ways to make money at that yacht club. But we just lost the chef. He's gone. How are we going to fix that for somebody game? You don't need high dollar food. I will pay high dollar price for good food, but I don't think the yacht club needs it. It's a relaxed atmosphere. You got the water, you got the boats in front, you got Ocean City. Cheap food, good food, fast service. Get a beer quick. You got a Beto. You got everything in the world to make that. Second point, golf course. I am a golfer. I don't play a whole lot. I can tell you what the problem is with Ocean Ponds. You don't play. I'm a half decent golfer, but I play with guys that aren't really that good. What you need at a golf course is you need to open it up. You need to take some trees down, open it up, because people go to play golf for a low score. If they don't have a good card, they won't go back. They'll go to a place where they can keep the ball in play. They don't want to look for it in the woods. If you take some trees down over there, we have the lowest rates in Ocean City. We're really good at that. But I don't think we get how do we not get play? Take some trees down. Let people go into the woods, punch the ball out and get to the green. It helps the scorecard. It helps people come into the course. 2 easy fix.
Hi, I'm new to Ocean Pines. My husband and I moved about 6 months ago here. We're coming again and thoroughly have enjoyed it. I appreciate all your hard work. Wondering if there's any consideration for a gym, treadmill, weights, just someplace when it's hot like this to go and exercise.
That's a question, right? That's a question. Okay. I don't want to. Yes, we part of the last capital improvement plan offering that we had put together from the staff side offered that type of facility here in the community. Again, with something like that, you have to take a look at overall use, not just having one, but where it's going to go based on everything else we have. So yes, in long-range planning, I've included it, but it's something that has to be accepted more globally than just off my desk. Working this way, good, we good? I already went to the gym once this morning. You ought to wear me out.
How many people go out at night? Very few, because the roads sometimes are so dark that you can't see the road. Put the bright lights up. I was stopped by the cops and told that I shouldn't flash the lights. What I propose is put reflectors in the road so that your low beams will hit the reflectors and you will be able to see the road properly instead of going off the road. So put reflectors so we can see where we go.
All right. Other questions, concerns? Yes, sir. It's your meeting, so we're here for you. So, yes.
I just want to add to what that gentleman just said. The roads are very dark, and when I back out of my driveway at night, you can't see what's in the road. You can't see if somebody's walking along with a dog or something. I mean, is there some sort of rule in the pines that you can't have illumination? You know, even if it's a light every once in a while?
I've been asked about street lights. I've been there all over and over, but it's something that's been back and forth. That's something the community has to decide on, not me. You know, board would certainly look at it and brought it up to your board member.
Okay. And the other thing I have is just a comment about going back to the yacht club. observation. I stopped going there for a while because of the food and the service, and I'll go someplace else. I'd like to support the yacht club. We went over there, a week ago for music that they had there. None of my group would eat, but we ate. So first thing we noticed when we walked in was tablecloths and glass tops. And I thought, oh, tablecloths. And the hostess was standing right there. And she goes, yes, that's very nice, isn't it? And I said, yeah. I said, but why are the tablecloths all the way down to the ground? You know, because when you pull them with your chair, then it's all over your legs. I don't understand that. And the lady said, are you going to complain all night long? That's the first thing she says to me, you know? And it's an attitude. So anyway, we went into the bar to get something to eat. We got some appetizers in there. And my wife got mussels. They came out. 3 of them were uncooked. She said, what do? I said, you send them back, have them cook them some more. So he said to the bartender, then he said he's back and cookies a little bit more. And she goes, I don't think so. I said, what do you mean you don't think so? You take them back and get them cooked. You know? She said, I'll try. So off they went, and sure enough, they came back out. But it's little things, that's the attention to detail, that I don't know if everybody else notices because you weren't in the business, but you've been eating in restaurants for a long time, and you ought to be able to know what good service is and what good service is not. And I don't think that there's a training manual that tells these people what they should be doing. Now, maybe I was a nitpicker, but in my restaurants, when you walk out of the kitchen into the dining room, if you're carrying food or going to take an order, you make eye contact with every table you have in case they need something. There's nothing worse than being in a restaurant and you need something. They brought you your food, but you discovered you need something that didn't come with your meal, and you try to get their attention, and they don't look at you. They just head back on. So, by the time you get somebody's attention, your meal's cold. So I just think if they have a training manual, it must not being enforced, but I think they need something to be able to improve that, because I know a lot of people would go back.
The mic's dead. I'm sorry, I don't know. I'm kidding.
Don't need a mic. Rhoda Arrow, Section 10, and I think this has been said before, and I don't know if it's a possibility, but with the phenomenal restaurateurs that we have in Ocean City, why it can't be taken over? They know how to run restaurants, they know how to make money, they know how to provide, like you said, somebody said, well, get the catering menu from the Southside Grill. Get them to run it. Is someone, by the way, what are you doing since you said all in your spare time? Retired. Oh, it won't take much of your time. It won't. But anyway, I don't know if that's a possibility, or I'm sure it's thought of before. But not to take over everything, like if they're doing a good job with the weddings, which I understand the food upstairs and the catering is so much better, everyone has told me. Why can't the downstairs be, like I said, out to somebody who knows what to do?
It's mass produced, one meal.
Is that why? Well, whatever it is.
So there's no timing of it. It all has to be done at one time. It's all cooked at one time. So that's it. You're not preparing 70 different options at one time.
Any other questions?
No.
Okay, Bob, we have a good thing here. Let's keep it a good thing. Let's make it good. I come down on the weekends. I work really hard during the week to come down here and do nothing but relax. I am fixing the house right now, but we do have a good thing here. Let's keep it. Keep it.
Question when that was to ask all the board members, that's the new ones and the old ones, to come to my table if you haven't already done so, because we need to talk about the reorganization meeting. But before that, we will call for an adjournment. Wait.
Can we see who the board members are?
Yeah, we don't even know.
We don't know who the board members are.
Come on, hang on, yeah. Slow down, Trendick. Fred Hill.
I mean, I'd like to know who they are.
All right, hang on.
Okay, I'm not arguing.
I got it. Cheryl Jacobs, are you still in the room? Meryl? Cheryl, where are you? You're not a board member. Dave Stevens.
You can be a short Cheryl.
Mr. Stevens,
mind coming up front? I heard it. He just wants to see who there's for.
But I don't have a calendar.
No. Now, the question is, who the current board members are. I want to see the board. I'd like to know who's
Seven. Not all seven are here.
Get them lined up, Joe. Get them lined up. Get them lined up.
Okay, here we are. Okay, this is all we have. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm going to call for the adjournment. I guess everybody's back.
Something, and now, so then we end up